Hi, this is Dina for Splitcoaststampers. In this tutorial, I'll show you how to create a twisted easel card and then 2 ways to complete a double twisted easel card. The construction of the base of the single card is very simple. You'll need a piece of cardstock cut to 4 1/4 by 8 1/2 inches. You'll score down the center at 4 1/4 inches. And then the second score line that you'll make will be a diagonal one. And that one goes from the upper left corner to the bottom of the center score line. Go ahead and fold on the score lines and give them a good crease, and that is the basic structure for the card. The diagonal line allows the card front to sit up at an angle with the inside of the card as its base. You're going to create a front panel for the card. I made mine a square, but yours can be any size up to 4 1/4 inches wide and 4 1/4 to 5 1/2 inches high if you want it to fit in a standard envelope. You'll adhere the panel to the lower triangular section of the front panel. Don't put adhesive on the upper triangular portion or your card won't sit up correctly. On the inside of the card, you'll add a raised element. It can be a pearl or a button or a raised die cut. And put it toward the corner or even up toward the center of the panel, and that is what will hold the easel element open and in place when the card's open. Here's my completed card. That image is from the cat's pajamas rubber stamps, and I think it is just so cute. So let's move on to the double easel card. We're going to start with a base that is 8 inches square and score it down the center at 4 inches. I'm going to give the cardstock a quarter turn and line it up again at 4 inches, and then I want to make a cut from that score line straight up to the edge of the cardstock. There are 2 different ways that you can score the diagonals for the double easel, so I'll show you both and then you can decide which one is going to work better for your card. To have the panels kind of facing toward the center of the card, your score lines will be made from the outside corners down to the point where the score line and cut line meet. And then you'll make that same score line on both sides. If you're working on a score pal or another scoreboard, it's easy, since this is a square, to line up the opposite points on the score line and then just make a score line from the corner down to the center there. So those score lines allow your front panels to face toward each other when the card is displayed, and that's my preference. But I've seen easel cards that had the front panels facing out instead, so I'll show you how to do that too, just in case you'd like to try it yourself. The first steps for creating the base are the same, but the score lines will go instead from the top of the cut line out to the ends of the scored line. Whichever method you choose, after you've made your score lines, go ahead and fold on all the lines and crease them really well with a bone folder or another tool. I like to use the side of my stylus, but you can use whatever works for you. When you make your creases, be sure that your edges are lined up really nicely as well. Here you can see the difference between the 2 methods of scoring the base. It's just a difference of which ways your panels will fold when your card is displayed. You're going to create 2 panels for your card front, and this time I've made my panels 4 inches square because I want this card to be able to fit in a standard business size envelope. Just like before, you're going to adhere the panel to the lower triangular section of the front panel. Don't put any adhesive on that top triangle section or your card won't open correctly. If you use this construction, this angle for your diagonal lines, when you put your front panels on, be sure to pay attention to the way you position your panels. When the card is open, you want your image or your text to be upright, but with this fold, those bases are actually toward the center when the card is closed. I used a pattern on my card front so that wouldn't matter, but if you're using a stamped image or stamped text, you'll want to pay attention to that. I put a cardstock panel on the inside of my card, and I'm going to center this raised die cut sentiment on the inside of the card as well, and that is what's going to hold the front panels open when the card is displayed. Instead of having one raised element in the center, you could use 2 elements, one on each side. Just position your inside elements so they're either centered or at equal distances from the center, so the panels stand up at the same angle. Here's that card all finished up. I used a strip of cardstock to make a belly band, hold it closed with another die cut sentiment on the front. The card with the alternate score lines is constructed in the same way as the other one, with the front panels and again the adhesive just on the lower triangles. For this orientation, if you use an image or a sentiment, those will align to the outside when the card is closed. I used the same die cut sentiment on this card for the inside panel, but it might actually be better to use two separate elements on the inside of the card that would be placed toward the center of each of the panels when they're standing up, and maybe I'll try that way next time. Here's that completed card with the belly band again to hold it together for presentation. Hope you'll give one or both of these cards a try and share with us. Thank you so much for watching.